Please be seated. And someone be kind enough to shut that back door.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, boy. Okay. We will start. And it is, as far as much as well, that's off. It is about
6:34,
6:34. We're starting the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment, Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority, regular meeting agenda for Wednesday, November 6, 2019, 6:30 p.m. And just to inform you, we did not have a closed session. Okay. Roll call, City Clerk.
Mayor Hodge,
Here.
Mayor Prochem Romero,
Here.
Councilmember Arriola Fernandez,
Here.
Councilmember Risen is absent, Councilmember Pacheco. We have a quorum, Mayor.
All right, good. Well, okay. Will you please stand, ladies and gentlemen? I'll lead you in the flag salute. Hand over heart. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Dell, would you do the pledge?
Together, we pledge to provide effective and efficient services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico!
Do we have a special invocation? Of course we do. This gentleman.
Would you please remain standing?
Remain standing.
I'm going to just pray in Spanish. Señor, te damos las gracias esta tarde, Padre, que por favor nos puedas dirigir hoy, que las decisiones que se tomen hoy sean en tu honra, en tu gloria, y que para que también podamos honrar y honrar a todos nuestros ciudadanos de nuestra hermosa ciudad. En el nombre de Jesús te damos las gracias. Amén.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. And before we start on a sad note. We had a gentleman that for 5 years was, a few years ago, a member of the Arts Commission when it was on its own. Sergio Gaetan, a brilliant artist, a fine man. He passed away 2 days ago, November 4th. So please hold him in your prayers, and if you know him, I'm going to find out as soon as I can about the services, and you can ask me about that. Okay, an approval of the agenda, but before we approve the whole agenda, we have an emergency item to add to the agenda. So we need a vote to add it. Is there a motion?
Motion to add.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just take the title, Adoption of Resolution in Support of Declaration of Local Emergency at the New River by the County of Imperial. And that's the item we're looking
and
to
I
add.
should have said that. Thank you very much. Okay, Councilman Romero made a motion to add. Is there a second? So moved by Councilman Pacheco. Okay, now we have to vote as part of the approval. You want to vote on it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there a motion to vote on this emergency item?
Motion vote.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, passes. Now what? Well, that's what I was.
Oh.
Woo. Okay.
Mr.
And
Mayor.
now a motion to approve. Oh boy, here we go. Yes?
We do have as well, we're going to move the order of the items. Item number 20, informational items, Finance Department Annual Calendar. We're going to move that up to,
Right before the discussion and potential action item calendar.
Acceptable to the council.
Before
Item 10.
item 10. Yes, I got that. Okay. All right, and that's when we're going to vote on it, correct?
No, I guess now it's just approving the agenda with that change.
Okay, so we're going to, let's approve the agenda with also including item number 10 here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. City Clerk, announcements?
These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov. Mayor Hodge will have community office hours to hear the concerns of the citizens the fourth Tuesday of the month from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at City Hall in the City Manager's Conference Room, 608 Heber Avenue, Calexico.
All right. Thank you, City Clerk. And we have coming to presentations today. We have a proclamation for the Farm Worker Appreciation Week, December 1st, 2019 through December 7th, 2019. Everybody on board? You have your script? All right. I will begin. Whereas agriculture has traditionally been the backbone of the economy of the Imperial Valley, and
Whereas Imperial Valley farm workers have tilled the soil, sowed the seed, and harvested the crops of this rich agricultural area, and whereas these workers and the agriculture industry have provided food in abundance for the people in cities, the nation, and world, have this contributed greatly to the economy of Calexico and the Imperial Valley, and
Whereas the Calexico City Council recognizes the contribution with these migratory workers and the agriculture industry have made to our community, and
Whereas the City Council,
okay.
Calexico City Council believes in the dignity of tilling the soil and tending the crops, and
Whereas the Calexico City Council recognizes agriculture will continue to play a strong role in our community's economy, and
Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Bill Hodge, Mayor of the City of Calexico, do hereby proclaim the week of December 1st, 2019 through December 7th, 2019 as Farm Worker Appreciation Week. In witness whereof, I hereto affix my signature and official seal of the City of Calexico on the 6th day of November, 2019. All right, and would Elvira Anaya
Elvira Anaya,
please come down?
Chair of the Farm Worker Services Coalition.
Oh, okay. Very good. Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Give her a hand.
Mayor Hodge and members of the City Council, thank you for this proclamation. 2019 marks the 40th anniversary of the annual Farm Worker Appreciation Breakfast. It's going to be a very big event. It's going to be on Friday, December 6th, from midnight to 5 o'clock in the morning. I am here to extend an invitation to all the City Council members to please join us at that special breakfast. It's a small token of our great appreciation for those that till the soil and bring food to our tables on a yearly basis. So on behalf of the Farm Worker Services Coalition of Imperial County, I thank you, and I extend that invitation for you to meet us at the crack of night on December 6th. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your hard work.
Thank you again.
All right, another proclamation. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is the mayor's proclamation for the 2019 Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl, November 28th, 2019. Let me read this. Whereas it is the intention of the mayor of the city of Calexico to focus attention on noteworthy occasions and individuals, whereas Thanksgiving is a time for embracing and appreciating family, friends, classmates, and community, and give thanks for the many blessings and gifts that we have been granted for, and that is for sure. Whereas the Calexico community has come together each year on Thanksgiving Day at the Calexico American Legion softball field, and whereas at this very special time of year, it is important we celebrate our collective good fortune, reunite, and engage classmates in a fun American tradition of blessings, and whereas the mayor of the city of Calexico is honored to be part of the Calexico's 30th annual Turkey Bowl Classic and celebration. It's been a tradition throughout many years in Calexico. And whereas I, Bill Hodge, mayor, wish to thank the Calexico high school classes of 1985, 1986, and 1988, and their families, whose vision for this event has created a beautiful tradition. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Bill Hodge, Mayor of the City of Calexico, do hereby join in celebrating the 2019 30th annual celebration of the Turkey Bowl Classic on Thursday, November 28, 2019, and urge all Bulldog alumni to support this event. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and official seal to the Calexico, City of Calexico, on the 6th day of November 2019. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Javier Gonzalez, please. Who's going to come? Okay. Good. Excellent stuff. Here we go. Thank you. They're the organizers.
Mr. Romero, what will you be playing? What will you be playing? What? No. What official position are you going to be? I got to look out for your.
There's really no official positions anymore for us at our age. Thank you very much.
You are quite welcome.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Good luck.
That's fine. Testing. I'll just take a quick minute. My name is Alberto Acuña. You met Mr. Romero. And we're class of 87. This is going to be our 30th year that we're going to be doing the Turkey Bowl here at what we call the water plant. And we would be honored to have Mayor Hodge there. We normally start the games, the softball games, with a little ceremony, national anthem. We remember all the classmates that have passed away. And we also invite a lot of the, since it's a season for a lot of the reunions, some of them go out there and they do fundraising in order to start gathering money for their upcoming reunions. We invite Mayor Hodge, the City Council. This will be on the 28th, and we normally get there about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, coffee, donuts. Then we have a taquero, we have a jumper for the kids, a DJ, and we try to, have as many alumni there as possible. I also do a home run derby, and we're going to have Mr. Romero participate this year. Okay? We'll see you out there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have another presentation for the Police Advisory Commission activities by Orlando Espino, Chairperson. Please come forward, sir.
Hi, good evening, residents of Calexico, council members, and Mayor Hodge. My name is Orlando Espino, and I'm a member of the Calexico Police Advisory Board. I will be providing you with an update of our activities this past year. In summary, we have had various residents bring concerns to the board as well as stakeholder presentations. Residents requested that the commission look into the intersections of Pollen Avenue with 9th and 10th Street. This resulted in the police department analyzing the situation and the city installing stop signs at those intersections. And what did that create? That created a safer environment for the residents in that area. Residents also requested the commission look into traffic concern at the corner of Encinas and 7th Street that resulted in the removal of a red zone, which also contributed to a safer community. Residents have also brought forth concerns regarding police staffing levels, response times, and criminal activity. The Chief of Police has been present at the meetings and has been providing the commission with the support and guidance that we need. And he has also been available for questions and concerns after hours. In one of these meetings, residents were explained and articulated the city's budget constraints, and I was very well received by the residents who had a misunderstanding of why there was such a low staffing level. The commission has also invited 2 law enforcement stakeholders to conduct presentations to the board and to the residents. One of them highlighted services of victim crime services to the residents, and the other one highlighted law enforcement investigative assistance. The first presentation was given by the Imperial County Gang Intelligence Coalition. The purpose of this presentation was to inform our residents and our board members about the mission of the ICGIC. The mission of the ICGIC is to facilitate intelligence sharing between law enforcement agencies as it pertains to gangs and drug trafficking, and how it contributes to a safer community. The second presentation was given by the Imperial County District Attorney's Office, Victim Witness Division. The purpose of this presentation was to inform our residents and board members about the mission of Victim Witness and how they support victims and witnesses with services that will help them cope with the aftermath of victimization. Both of these organizations work hand in hand with our police department. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the hardworking employees of the police department, the records clerks, traffic personnel, dispatchers, animal control officers, and police officers who work day in, day out, keeping our city safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Espino. We really appreciate the presentation. We applaud you for gathering that information and those accomplishments and bringing it up here and sharing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On a side note, I just want to thank him as well. For many of the citizens, being a commissioner and different commissions, it's on a voluntary basis. And so you're investing your time, your efforts, and I want to thank Chairperson Espino not only for doing a great job, but he's also a former Calexico police officer. So, just on a way, for him to give back, to be able to give back, and use his resources and experiences. I'm just honored for him to be my commissioner. And thank you again.
Yeah,
thank you.
Mr. Espino.
Thank you
Fine
for the
job.
confidence. Thank you.
And we urge you and recommend that all commissioners, chairperson or designated person of the commission to come up and give at the appropriate time periodically reports as to what is going on in your commission, what you have accomplished. Okay, we move on now to public comments. And I'm sorry, Chief, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, actually good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable City Council. The reason I'm up here is because we started with this new commission, what you guys appointed, and we've always had really good commissions, but this one has a little bit more experience in law enforcement. So the questions that they bring up to me and their concerns, they've done their homework. So it's not like they're asking me, how do I do a sign-off ticket? Actually, their questions are pretty good questions when it comes to staffing levels. Like they asked about our fleet. We were on our fleet of police cars when we're looking at replacing them, mileage, and then, like I said, they're all either had some sort of ties with law enforcement in the past, so they understand the process. When we do have our meetings, we do invite people to come in. We've had a group of people that came in from downtown that did not know the situation when it came to a lot of the procedures of working the downtown area, or how it gets worked, and most of our commissioners know that. So I answered a little bit of the questions, but in reality, it's their commission, and I really enjoy working alongside with them. I think they're an excellent group of gentlemen. They're diverse. We have Mr. Chuy Iniguez, Mr. Buelna, Salvador Munoz, Peter Castro, and Mr. Espino here. So they're all from, if you spread them out throughout the city of Calexico, they've all lived in one area of Calexico in their lifetime. You know, they're not just all from the east side of Calexico, or they're all different people from different sides of town. So I want to thank you guys for choosing and appointing commissioners that are willing to work with the department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, we'll move on now to public comments and public appearances. City Clerk?
This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is a consent item, please comment now. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council.
Okay, very good, thank you. And once again, we will time you just to have an orderly procedure and make sure that everybody gets an opportunity. You have 3 minutes, and the microphones are working well, so there is really no need to shout. They should pick up very well. All right, who do we have first?
Jesse Garcia.
Okay.
Good evening. Jesse Garcia, 600 Block Lincoln Street. All right, today I want to talk about Nosotros Park. There's some problems at Nosotros Park, like the basketball court is in very bad shape. It has holes. One of those holes is deep enough you can see the root bar already. On the other side of the basketball court, the other half, some guys that go play there had to cover up with duct tape the holes so they won't get hurt. Also, there are 2 drinking fountains in that park, which are both dry. They haven't been working in a long time. And people who exercise there every morning have been calling me, when are they going to fix those drinking fountains? So I've been telling them for a long time and nothing has been done. There's also a big hole in the fence on the south side of the park by the river bottom. And one time, those homeless people living down there broke a section of the fence so they could come in and out. Okay, Supervisor Mike Solano sent his crew. They did a great job of repairing that fence. But right after they did that, here they come back again with wire cutters. And the hole is still there. 2 days ago, I was doing my route around the town, around Calexico, to visit all the parks. And I was there for about a few minutes at Nosotros Park, and I saw a homeless guy go into the hole, walking by himself. 20 minutes later, he comes back on a mountain bike, riding a mountain bike, and then he was carrying another bike on his side, 2 bicycles. I don't know if he bought them or he got them at the 5-finger discount, but when he went out, he didn't have no bicycles. He came back with bicycles. And then he went through that hole, got down to the river bottom where they're camping out. At one time, their camp was set on fire, so I thought they were gone. No, there's a new camp now. They're back. Also, the skateboard play area that is now gone. I have a friend who used to take his children to that park to ride their skateboards. He told me that now he has to take them to El Centro, to that new skateboard park, because Calexico doesn't have any. I mean, the only skateboard park we have for the kids has been taken away from them. I mean, what's going to happen now? Before you know it, we're going to lose playgrounds also, and they're going to have to be going to other places instead of staying here in town. We need to bring back the skateboard park for the children so they won't be riding in the streets in danger of getting hit by a car. I've seen them all the time. We need that skateboard park back in place. The other thing is, I still can't believe the city is still using those oil barrels as trash cans in the parks. Those are what, 50 gallon drums? They are being used for trash cans. Empty, they weigh about, I believe, 20 pounds.
30 seconds.
Now with oil, with trash, it's a lot more. My back is all messed up because back when I used to work for the city, I had to pick up those cans. We don't want that to happen to the other employees. We need to get rid of those cans and put the right cans for trash all over in every single park.
Thank you, Jesse. Your
So,
time is up, sir.
I hope this time something will be done about.
I'll
all this
make a comment
information.
during councilman
All right.
comments, Jesse.
Thank you very much. I'll be back.
Thank you. Yes, you will.
Robert Peña.
Good evening. My name is Robert Peña. I reside here in Calexico, 752 Encanto Drive. And today I'm here just to, it's about the Halloween event that we had on the 31st of October at historic downtown Calexico. I think it was a big shebang. I want to use that word because it came together so good that we had a lot of good compliments. But first of all, I want to thank the City Council for approving this event to begin with. I want to thank City Manager, Mr. David Dale, Assistant Miguel Figueroa, and all of the council, every single one of you. I want to thank our mayor, Mr. Hodge. You make a great wrestling ring announcer. I just want to let you know. Thank you for your support. The kids had a lot of fun. The smile on their faces. We brought legends, wrestling legends that you see on TV to historic downtown. Never in my life did I imagine that we would have this type of people at this type of event. I want to thank the Calexico Police Department, Chief Chalo Gerardo, Sergeant Acuna, and all of his staff for creating and allowing a safe environment for all the people that showed up at downtown historic Calexico. All the police officers and even, what do you call them, the explorers? They had such a great way with the people. I got complimented through the people that the police officers were very well mannered and helped put this event on at a safe environmental way. I also want to thank Mike Solano and all of his staff, all the city employees that cleaned the alleys in the snap, that got everything together so we could get this great event going. I hope there's more of this because, once again, the smile on the kids' faces, the line receiving candy from wrestling legends is priceless. And I think everybody's talking about this event. I've gotten a lot of compliments. I can't take the compliments because I just helped create this, set up the sound, and I was the contact with all these wrestling. Being a wrestler myself, was the contact with all the wrestling legends that flew in and were able to be here. There's already the city. I got a call from somebody from the city of Raleigh. They want to put on an event like this in Raleigh, but I will only do it for Calexico because it's my hometown, and I want it to
30
be.
seconds.
I want it to be our pride, and I want it to be unique and only in Calexico in a good manner, in a good way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Peña.
Javier González.
Honorable Mayor, Councilman, Public Javier Gonzalez, Kennedy Gardens, Neighbors in Action. I don't want to be a party pooper, but first let me tell you, an ounce of prevention is worth 100 pounds of enforcement. We have a lot of people in my neighborhood that live alone. Robert Kennedy se llama la calle de las viudas. A lot of people live alone. And what I'm a little bit upset right now is this is the first year in 25 years that we don't do an event the whole year. Because last April, we're going to do the Earth and Arbor Day Health, Safety, and Environment Fair. The city wouldn't sponsor us $130 waiver. But I have here a Halloween event sponsored by the city, $6,000. It's great, don't get me wrong, it's great. But don't we need health, safety, and environmental projects, community projects? With $700, we did a great event that were over 35 booths. There was kids boxing against crime. We had, thanks to the police department, fire department, we had Sparky and McGraw fly in a helicopter. But this year, the city wouldn't help us with $132. Now I see right here, $6,500 for the Halloween. I met with our city manager. He couldn't, since we graduated a neighborhood watch, the city should have bought the signs. We bought it twice. I met with the city manager, told him we need new signs, $700 for 15 signs. We can't buy signs. But $6,000 for candy, a haunted house, a TV appearance, posters, candy. Is that more important than the health and safety of your and the environment of Calexico? I don't think so. Then you guys get upset because I come here and I speak up and I criticize or question. There's Facebook. Just look at the bottom. I support this event. But why don't you support all events evenly? This is the first year in 25 years we don't do a health, safety, and environmental fair. Because last year I didn't even make the agenda. And that's sad. That's sad. And it says here that it's a breakdown. There's no numbers here. How much did they spend for plaques and trophies, candy, banners, clowns? Sorry, gentlemen, but I'm pretty upset for my neighbors. There's senior citizens living in my neighborhood. There's like 4 or 5 senior complexes. They live alone. They live alone. And a little bit of crime prevention training, a little bit of how to take themselves, how to report things, it'll be better. The signs, just $32 each. We bought them twice. We're hoping that you guys at least pitch in that side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aramik Glass Blake.
Ah, yes. It's my pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Good evening. My name is Aramik Glass Blake. I am the executive director of an organization called Generation Justice. I am a resident of San Diego County, so I know you're probably asking why am I here tonight. Well, I'm running for the 51st Congressional District, which is all of Imperial County, and that's why I'm here. Since January, I have been coming out every other week, really hearing the concerns of the community, hearing the concerns of the people. And my job is to uplift the voices of the voters. My job is to listen to people and take the solutions that the community have and put that into action. And so that's kind of been my track record. And I'm just here today. I was at the New River, and I know you've had a lot of political figures and politicians come before you and talk about the New River and certain promises that have been made over the past 70 years, and nothing has been done. And so I have been doing my research around this issue, and I've taken it to a national level. I did an interview, and I just want you to know there's somebody out here advocating for you all and advocating for the community. I did a national interview that went viral talking about the New River, talking about solutions that you all have given me and how we are going to put that into action. So I'm not a big talker, but I put my words into action. I'm about the work of the people. And so there's one thing I just want to put out. There's a new minute order reflecting the compliance with the Clean Water Act that truly needs to be implemented. And so for the next couple months, you're going to see me constantly talking about that and pushing that. I'm not in office yet, but like I said, I have a track record of getting things done just in the position that I am in now. And I'm going to use that leverage to really help the community. So I just wanted to say hello, greet the council, and thank you for having me and embracing me. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Supervisor Jesus Escobar.
A familiar figure.
Could you state your name, please, and residence?
Yes.
Jesus, not the real Jesus. And I do live in Calexico.
It behooves us.
You missed the behoove, don't you?
I missed the
Yeah, I'm on
behoove.
the clock, so be quiet.
All right.
Mr. Figueroa, Mr. Dale, Señor Campos, is it Arreola Fernandez, Fernandez Arreola? Arreola Fernandez, I apologize. Mr. Romero, Mayor Hodge, Señor Pacheco, y mi Gaby. 4 items. I haven't been here for a while, and I do apologize. I was a little late. What else is new? Nothing changes. New River. I believe you already approved the action, along with the action for the Salton Sea. First of all, I appreciate the fact I was actually going to talk on that item, but the fact that you sped it up, once again, is appreciated. It is an issue that has been an issue for our city, for our county, for 75 years. I usually use the word frickin' to not say the other F word, but it's a very frustrating situation because throughout the years, nothing has really happened with the New River. And I'm going to combine that with the Salton Sea, which became an issue roughly in the early 80s. Even though technically it was the 60s, it became a national spotlight in the 80s. The issue here is they're basically joined at the hip, as we say. And the problem is neither the Salton Sea or the New River are getting the necessary attention that we need. We've talked about diplomacy, we've talked about working together, we've talked about doing this and doing that, but at the end of the day, what have we really accomplished? Nada. We have a solution in place where we put a sewage treatment plant on the U.S. side that we control, that we own, that actually does not cost an arm and a leg, at least not in federal monies. We're talking about $80 to $100 million, which in federal funding is a joke. We have the necessary resource to get it done. The Salton Sea, we have the necessary resource because, again, it's no longer a county problem. It is a Southern California problem. And that's what we need to focus on, and that's what we need to push. Diplomacy is out the window, and we need to push for our rights as City of Calexico and as the County of Imperial. And I ask for your full support in getting this done, not just through this measure, but through knocking, and not just knocking on doors, because we've knocked on doors, but pushing doors down to get the results that we need. Excuse me. On a somewhat lighter note, I have created the Southern Border Coalition. I might be mistaken. I have a colleague here who may correct me, but I think that's the name of the group that I've, through the blessing of the County Board of Supervisors, I invite one member of the City Council. I'm going to invite one member of Heffernan Memorial District. I'm going to invite one member of the Unified School District here. I'm going to invite either Mr. Dare or Mr. Figueroa, along with 5 members at large. What is the point? The point is in Calexico, there is a lot of innuendos. There's a lot of talk. This group against that group. One criticizes this group, one criticizes that group. Perfect example. We did not do an event in Kennedy Gardens, yet we did that one in downtown. Ahí están. That serves no purpose. We need to collaborate, we need teamwork, and we need transparency.
30
That's
seconds.
what this group is for us to work together to get things done and move things forward. Calexico needs all the help it can get, and I think this group will push the envelope, will push it to the next level. Last but not least, I was in Washington in March, and I was basically guaranteed without guaranteeing, because the government doesn't guarantee anything but taxes. I was basically guaranteed that the Calexico West Port of Entry expansion and pedestrian construction would be done in 2020. And by done, I mean funded, not completed, obviously.
Right.
I have requested that GSA make a presentation to the County Board of Supervisors. They will be there Tuesday the 19th. And I would urge the mayor and the city manager to invite GSA to make that same presentation here at the City of Calexico so that we're all fully aware of what's going on. And again, it's about pushing the envelope, making sure that we get the things that were promised in an appropriate manner. We're already behind the 8 ball. This should have been done already. The construction should have been completed. The funding hasn't been approved. It's been earmarked, but it's not approved. We need to push for that, and that's what the presentation is going to talk about at the Board of Supervisors, and hopefully that you can bring it here to Calexico.
Okay.
3 minutes, I apologize, it might have been 4. Me jalas las orejas, señor Pacheco.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Mr. Supervisor.
Anything we can help.
John King.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and City Council members. Well, it was a shock for me about New River. there's New River, a lot of the negative incentive of city of Calexico, they get the money funded, that fund is evaporated. And there's no, we don't know where. Very example, New River, they have a $2 million, but it's gone. For the designing and study, $2 million. So we have ourselves has issues to ask the help, that we don't use the help, that help is right. And also, was alumni of the Bulldogs are really requesting be more active. And we have City of Calexico is fading. I really encourage all the alumni and Bulldogs, and I have my sons graduating here too. They need to involve more to removing of the cities from the fading to the revival.
Mr. Kim, please address us. Thank you.
I'm just addressing you. I mean, I know you're not the Bulldog too, but the thing is, I already is addressing you. When I move around, you're wasting my time. You try to cut them what I'm talking. You are very good with that. So, it's the city of Calexico is been misleading by the wrong politics, wrong officials. And city of Calexico, same reason they keep going down, including New Rivers. And the other one is, for example, Daniel Gutierrez Park, city throwing the responsible IID, people cannot use it. I see the whole flooded water there. And city do not do anything. And another ones, this one is downtown like Halloween parties. It was a good intention. A lot of people use it in their effort to be functioning. It's, whatever we spend in money, we should spend in the effectiveness and fairness. And city of Calexico supposedly be a U.S. government. But how dare put the commercial or political sign at the street?
30
City of
seconds,
Calexico
sir.
allowed to do it. And the last, Mr. Hodge, I understand you're trying to conduct the meeting, but you need to learn of the word of the considerations.
I am, sir. Go ahead.
For example, supervisor, you just pushing them, cutting out, or there's some very barely coming in those public members, and you cutting and cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So you need considerations, flexible, like me, you cutting 30 minutes, I'm okay with it. But some people are not used to talking
your
here.
time is now up.
Giving them people. You're cutting my time already.
Well, you
You
just
stole
got to
my
talking
time.
a lot. Your time is now up, sir.
Okay?
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Next.
Pedro Ortiz.
Buenas noches, señores. Pedro Ortiz, residente de la ciudad de Calexico. Yo vengo a solicitarles aquí a los miembros del concilio que pongan en la agenda el costo de las licencias de nosotros los vendedores. No lo han puesto. Desde hace más de un año que pasó el incidente del Santo Tomás, fue una de las primeras cosas que comentaron que lo iban a revisar. Y pues han tenido bastante tiempo de organizar fiestas y no han organizado cosas realmente que nos afecta a muchos residentes de la ciudad de Calexico. Necesito que lo pongan antes de que venga a pagar yo otra vez mi licencia. No es justo que haya vendedores que paguen hasta 3 licencias para poder vender. ¿Ok? Otra cuestión, señores, yo estoy totalmente de acuerdo que hay que celebrar, hay que tener tiempo de descanso, hay que tener tiempo de diversión. Pero cuando tenemos recursos, señores, cuando resolvemos la seguridad, ese evento estuvo muy bien, todos me comentan que estuvo perfecto, pero era necesario, cuando tenemos problemas mucho más grandes, a dónde poder destinar nuestro dinero. ¿Qué? ¿Circo y pan al pueblo para que esté calmado? ¿Eso es lo que quieren darle? ¿O soluciones? Porque ese es su problema, ver lo que necesita el pueblo. El pueblo no necesita circo. Era un filón que venía de Mexicali, a los dulces y todo. Bendita gente de Mexicali. Yo era de allá, yo me considero de allá, de la gente. Pero no es lo que necesitamos los que vivimos aquí, los que se emigraron, los que tienen que vivir aquí, tienen que apoyar a su ciudad. Sábado y domingo es un pueblo abandonado, la ciudad de Calexico. Pero eso que están haciendo no considero yo que sea la solución. Tenemos soluciones mucho más importantes antes de darle circo al pueblo. Por favor. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Next. That is all. Okay. Now we come to city council comments and reports of meetings attended. To my right, Councilwoman, do you have anything?
Yes, I want to thank the fire department for their pumpkin patch that they did in the west side. I understand it was very successful. I saw pictures. I'm sorry I couldn't attend. I had an emergency. But it was a very good event. I know that the kids enjoyed it, and I really want to thank you for your hard work and anybody that participated. Thank you. Also, with the Halloween festivity that they had, it was also a big success. And even though people might say negative things about it, but it was paid by the bit. And I just want to say that I thank Mr. Peña and, of course, Mr. Morris is not here today, but that put a lot of effort into, and everybody else that did, the city, the fire department, and everybody that was involved. Thank you so much for all your hard work. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilman Romero?
Yes, I got a couple of comments. First and foremost, I want to actually congratulate Mrs. Espino, Spanish AP teacher for Calexico High School. They just did an amazing Dia de los Muertos altar with their Spanish AP class, and it was amazing. I don't know if you guys got the chance to see the pictures on social media, but if you guys get a chance, it would be great for you guys to do it. And once again, congratulations, Mrs. Espino. And on another note, I just kind of, contrary to what a lot of people have heard, we are moving forward. We are becoming more financially stable. At some points, it's very unfortunate that we hear so many comments that are false and misleading, but there comes to a point where you hear lies so many times that you eventually think it's the truth. And you know what? And for that reason, I feel that I have to be a little more vocal in regards to what we have done in the past couple of months between not only just the council members, but the entire administration, starting from the top, from our city manager, all of our department heads. It was very unfortunate that not many were able to stay in to the last meeting when we actually gave our financial report. But now, since I actually have you guys here, we will state that we actually are moving forward. We have actually cut the deficit, pretty much almost all of it, if I'm not mistaken. And economically speaking, we are actually at higher numbers. We're at like 2%, right between the first two quarters, if I'm not mistaken, city manager?
2% to
on
yeah,
taxes.
yes, absolutely. The
On
sales tax
taxes.
has not dipped.
Sales taxes.
It's 2% above where it was.
What I'm trying to say is, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. I want to thank Calexico Chronicle for actually going out there and putting in the article. It was very unfortunate that the Audit State Controller report, that is true, but that was 3-4 years ago.
16.
There you go, Mr. Mayor, said it the right thing. So, yes, have we had faults? Yes, we have. Are we correcting them? Of course we are. And we're just trying to move forward. And the only reason I'm saying is because I want you guys to be aware of what we're doing, where we're going, and to hear it straight from us. I don't mind being critiqued for my work politically speaking. I don't mind at all, because that's what I'm here for,
to hear you out and try to resolve it. But I just want to make sure at least when we critique, we're doing it with real factual evidence. So by all means, I am not closed off at all. You know, I've heard comments where many council members are not available. I am more than available to meet with anyone one-on-one here at City Hall. You can either talk to our city clerk, you can either call me directly. Majority of you have me on social media, or or you can just pretty much come up here and just set up an appointment. So I just want to let you guys know that we are open for that. Well, at least I am, and I'm pretty sure the rest of my colleagues are as well. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that we are moving forward. We do care what we're trying to do. We're not going to be able to please everybody. I would love to be able to hold a Halloween carnival and do events at Kennedy Gardens and be able to do that. We understand it's a process, but I'm telling you, with due time, with the due diligence we're doing and the hard work we're putting in, we will be able to do all of that and more. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Pacheco.
One item on the issue of looking at our licenses, we can't compete or compare ourselves to our neighboring city. They do have a lot more taxes than we do. I mean, it's just, we're not the same. So they're going to charge less than we are, but we need to make it, and it's a good point, we need to revisit what we have and make it just a little more workable for our businesses.
Yeah.
And but I know that we are where we're at, and we need to look at it closely and help our businesses out a little bit. But I know we don't have that tax base that the El Centro has. It's just not the same.
And I think that we really do need to look at that. It's just getting to that.
Yeah, I understand. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, very good. I have started as mayor, going door to door in various neighborhoods, and I have very good news. It's great news. I've asked the people, are they satisfied with their neighborhood? Are they satisfied overall with the city? There are concerns, and there always will be. But this is great news. People say that the city council and the staff, most of them said that we're doing a great job. Now let me repeat that, a great job, they said. And I feel good about that. That made me feel very good. We still have a lot to correct. We still have a lot to move forward on. But to get that kind of response from the people out there, the other 41,000 or 42,000 people, means a lot. And they were hopeful about parks, downtown, and our budget. We're not addressing, like Mr. Kim points out, law enforcement adequately, public safety. He's correct, but we are moving forward, and it is something that is a priority. I'd like to acknowledge the Halloween Carnival. It was very successful, and the wrestling event. But I want to state that I think that we need a better balance between business retention and security and events. Events are very important, but so is helping the businesses downtown. And want to make sure that when we do have events, that there's a budget, there's a business plan, and there is proper transparency. Jesse, don't give up. Okay? It's hard to sit here and listen when you say about the parks, and we're very slow at getting at these issues. I'll try my best to push harder on them, but thank you so much for your vigilance. All right, that's all I have to say. Now we have the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to state something for the record that during that Halloween event there was a political ad that was put up, and the city had no knowledge of that happening. The Halloween event took place in the nighttime when most people had already left, and it is absolutely you cannot do that. It is against the rules, against the law. The city cannot promote one candidate over the other in city right away. In fact, whenever we have elections, we do not allow political signs in our right of way for that exact reason. So apologies to all around with regard to that. It's unacceptable. We can't have that. So we'll try to be more vigilant and make sure that that they're aware that political advertisements in public right of way are unallowed. So anyways, that being said, I think that we will be working on the business licenses. There's one thing that I mean, we talked about in the town hall meeting. That was a great town hall meeting, by the way. Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, yeah.
About the business licenses, and like, for example, if one vendor, he has 3 stalls, we were charging him for 3 business licenses. It doesn't seem right somehow. So maybe we can address that just by itself, but really what we need to do is employ a consultant to do a rate study to look at what the actual city costs are as of today, so that we can, because the rules are that we're not supposed to charge more than what it actually costs in services. It's not a for-profit venture when we're charging for business license. So we'll be looking at that, and whenever we can get a consultant, there's going to be time. There's a time process there. We have to get RFP. We got to get a consultant. It's going to take a while to do, unless council wishes to and I think it's happened in the past, but then they reinstated those. So, anyways, we need to look at those fees, and we'll. I mean, it's fees across the board, from engineering, planning, all those things need to be looked at again. One of the reasons why we've been kind of hesitant to do that is that we just simply don't have, ironically, we don't have the budget to do a rate study. So but we have started the internal discussions with regard to that. I'm told that our fees are relatively similar to other cities, but maybe stuff like charging vendors 3 spaces, that needs to be looked at possibly.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Now, 3 spaces under the same business entity, right?
It's the same business. Apparently, I mean, the validity of that, I don't know, but it doesn't seem right. If they have in the same swap meet.
Right.
We need to definitely look at that, and we will be. So.
Very good.
And I think also I would like, if I could, to is the police chief here by any chance? Okay, I'd like to ask the police chief if you're okay with that.
Yes.
To talk about the Halloween and how that went with the police department.
Back here, okay. Anyways, this year, as a department, after speaking with my sergeants, we had a sergeants meeting and my lieutenant, we came to the conclusion that last year we were understaffed. We are understaffed, but we did not have anybody come in and work extra patrol. So what we did this year as a department is we brought in a whole team in on overtime, which I do have some money in my overtime budget, and I brought in our traffic controllers to hit the major intersections in the very busy streets. By doing that, the calls for service reduced, our liability when it comes to traffic accidents reduced. We didn't have any traffic collisions with injuries. We did have a couple of calls, but the fact that we brought an extra team on board, and that allowed us to focus more on the public safety side of Halloween. We all that were born and raised in Calexico know that Calexico during Halloween goes from maybe 40,000 residents to at least 50,000, I think, during that time, and with a lot of children crossing the street and not following the rules of the roads. So I'm happy to report that we feel that it was a success, and that's a type of operations that I want to continue doing on special events, as long as we do have the money for it, and my staff is willing to work it, because I know they want to be with their children too, handing out candies or taking them to get candies, but like the old police chief Toribio Flores used to say, and Javier Moreno, you can tell us, querías hacer policía. You want to be a police officer, you got to work weekends, holidays, and everything else that nobody likes to work. So being that said, thank you very much, Mr. Dale. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, Chief, and the police department.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I have a couple
Mr. Figueroa.
A couple of remarks. First off, I'm probably the happiest person around here that's seeing all this attention that the New River is getting. I can't forget my grassroots past, in which the Westside community spearheaded possibly what's enabling us to actually now be asking for money and not be asking for the door to be opened, for them to hear us up in Sacramento and in DC. With that said, I do want to acknowledge that on November 19th, the California-Mexico Border Relations Council who is a group made up of 8 cabinet secretaries to the governor in California, will be hosting their meeting here in Calexico. We're going to be getting the California Environmental Protection Agency, the California Health and Human Services Agency, the California Natural Resources Agency, the California Department of Food and Agriculture, the California State Transportation Agency, the Governor's Office of Business Services, the Consumer Services and Housing Agency, and as an ex officio member, the US EPA. I do want to say that as part of the agenda for that day, several environmental initiatives that are occurring in the state of California will be presented and enacted on here in Calexico as part of the meeting, along with a presentation by the city of Calexico on the work that's being done, on the work that and I have my public works manager with us here today. We are looking, because we just revised the timeline for our Calexico New River Parkway, in which we're looking at a tentative date of the end of 2020 for the final construction of of one of the 3 phases, phase 1B, which is now going to be being constructed in the west side of town. Along those lines, this morning, Rebecca Terrazas Baxter from the County of Imperial, myself, had a discussion with Phil Rosentrader from the Salton Sea Authority about the next steps because of the Colorado River Citizens Forum that took place last week here in the city. I want to acknowledge my staff in particular. I want to acknowledge everybody else that made this happen. The county stepped up, and we brought in over 50 people throughout the state of California to Calexico to tour and see the work that's being done. The attention is there. We are grateful for that. We are now demanding agencies to do what they have not done in decades. So I'm glad that the attention is getting drawn over here, and it's now getting more attention because it's long overdue. On that end, I want to now segue into some important items for our community to know. Treasure Hunt is a retail store that has locations in Fontana and Indio. I'm happy to share that they're going to be opening their doors here in our city, where the old Vaughn's was, where all locals know as El Hoyo. They're going to be going in there. They're going to be opening shop. This store in particular handles an inventory that's purchased from major retailers and manufacturers. It's a department store, clothing, kitchenware, electronics, shoes. Wow. Their catch and their model is that they sell at discount prices of 30% to 90% of regular retail prices. Nice. They're going to be starting at a lower scale compared to the model that they have in Indio and Fontana, because they want to catch the Christmas season, but their overall plan is to actually grow out the building there where the old Vaughn's used to be. That's something that's been in the works, I want to say, close to a year. Finally, the property owner and the store were able to come to an agreement. So it all came together so they can take advantage of the Christmas season. It's going to benefit, obviously, our sales tax revenue, and it's the presence of a new store in our city. I also want to share with everybody that we're targeting a ribbon cutting date of spring of 2020 for the Dollar General store that's going to open on Cloquet Road and Highway 98, right next to Willie Moreno Junior High. I was able to speak with the store today in the morning, and they are giving me that tentative date around March, April of 2020, so we can have a ribbon cutting ceremony. I do want to highlight that the Chamber of Commerce and the chairman of our Economic Development and Financial Advisory Commission are part of the planning for this event. We need to be inclusive. We need to get all the players to the table so we can prosper, which is what we're looking for. Last but not least, in social media, it's been out. You've probably been getting notices in your mail at home that Planet Fitness is going to open at the Cardenas Center. In addition to Planet Fitness, there's a couple of other businesses that are in the planning phase right now. Like we know it's a domino effect. One comes and the others will follow. So those are three important stories that I want to share with the council and the community.
It's great news. That means more jobs for people in Calexico, right?
And I do want to point out, it's not enough. It's not what this city needs. It's only getting us.
That's right.
To the ultimate goal of having a robust economy that addresses all the needs that still are out there that need to get addressed.
But it's
just
good to
a
hear.
portion of what we need.
These are just momentum builders. That's pretty much what it is.
That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Figueroa. That's positive news for the community. Okay. Consent agenda items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Is there approval? Okay, sir.
Oh, didn't you?
Yeah, you want to? Let Mr. Kim. I know, he forgot, so just let him go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Kim.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hachi, for getting it from the consent agenda. And we are asking the grant from the state. When the state gives the grant, they're gonna counting how much he was called accountable. And all Constable was bragging factual evidence. And the fifth of the secure city along the whole California. They just announced it a while ago. And we have sales tax increase, yes, because the internet sales, now they're charging sales taxes. The merchandise from out of state coming in, they're charging sales taxes. I believe early last year, I spoke with the assembly members and state senate about the issues about the federal court. So we can charge it. So they worked on it. State now they obligate to charging sales tax from the out of the state vendors. So that's why increasing our sales tax too. So whatever you guys was talking, like misleading the community, this is really misleading the community, is breaking you guys. We have fifths of the unsecure cities of the California. Just rise and announce it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Okay. For the future, again, I'll reiterate that when you have public comments, that's the time to also be able to speak on the consent agenda. But it was an oversight, so we let Mr. Kim speak. Okay. So, is there an approval for the consent agenda items?
Motion, we accept items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 on the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
So move.
Very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it passes unanimously. Aye. All right. Before we go to discussion and potential action items, we want to move item number 20 before discussion item number 10. And it is, subject is a finance department annual calendar, right?
Yes, Mr. Hodge, that's correct. And I'll just introduce the item, and our finance director, Ms. Carla Lovatos, will provide the details. But I do want to point out that this is something that has been talked about for quite some time, at least since we've been here, which started around 2017. And that is that knowing the issues that had to be addressed on the fiscal side for the city, there was a huge need not only to update our protocols and procedures, but also at the same time have a roadmap. Have a roadmap that the city council and that the community could know that's out there, that must be followed, and that has to be met. This is where it's coming from, and that's why Ms. Lovatos requested that we include it, just because it's so important in the eyes of the state of California and for everyone to know how it is that we're going to achieve the items in this calendar. Carla.
Good evening, council members. You have in front of you a finance calendar, and we put this together. It's taken us a while, but at this point, it's been more than a year that I've been in this position. So at this point, I feel pretty confident that we are covering all the obligations that the city has. That would be either with the state or internal deadlines. So it's pretty much it's listing everything that we need to do as of now. This is a living document, so as we get more items, we will continue to include them as we find out about this. So this is just for your information. I know it's been requested in the past, so we just want you to know that we are working on this. We do have a calendar. We have deadlines, which at this point, we are meeting. So this is just for your information. So if you have any questions or if there's something that you would like to address.
I'd just like to comment that I found it very informative, and I thank you for your hard work on this. It's good that we have it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No questions.
No questions or concerns?
Just on the issue of the contract negotiations, we're only gonna meet in June? We're not getting it wrong. It's on the second sheet there. 2 of 6. Contract negotiation. Meet one time?
Yeah, well, we're gonna, actually, we need to start the meetings pretty soon. There's some issue with regard to the minimum wage that's coming up, and so we need to start those discussions. And we already have, we started today a little bit, but we'll be ongoing.
It's a placeholder, Mr. Pacheco, and like Ms. Lovatos mentioned, that doesn't take away from us doing the due process and meeting with Chevy Union.
Earlier. Because it says on the side here, like CMEA, March 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2021.
That's probably because their MOU is expiring at the end of this fiscal year, but we'll probably open up discussions before that.
So on that end, I just want to highlight something. In a revolving economy, anytime we have collective bargaining unit agreements, they are set for a specific term. What you have in front of you, like Mr. Dale mentioned, are the expiration dates of such agreements. However, that doesn't take away that other issues will arise that have to be dealt with and bargained. So those are handled, obviously, also.
Okay, this is just to acknowledge as a receipt, so there's no voting on it. Any other concerns? No? All right, let's move on.
Thank you, Ms. Lovatos.
Thank you, yes, for your hard work. Item number 10. This is to approve an extension of the PUN Group Accountants and Advisors contract to provide annual financial audit services for the city of Calexico for fiscal years ending in June 30th, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Mr. Dale, oh, there you are. Okay, very good.
Well, again, I have this in front of you. We do have our financial consultants. They prepare our annual audit, and we've been working with them for a few years, and I feel confident that they're doing a good job. So I would like to extend their contract. Last year, their contract was approved for 1 year. So at this point, I would like to request that we work with them for 3 more years, and then if you would like to, we can open for RFP and then go ahead and find maybe another option. I will say the price that they're charging us it's acceptable. They do a really good job. It's a true audit, and as they presented last council meeting, they have a history with the city, so they know how our operations run.
Yeah. That's a big advantage.
That's good or bad. But
Our
we
history.
have a
Numbers,
history
yeah.
with
Knowing
us.
our numbers and being familiar
That is
with Calexico.
And Ms. Lovato, this is, it's only a $4,000 increase, but it's like a drop in the bucket. It's not really that.
It's not really that
No,
much.
okay, yeah.
Ms. Lovatos, would you mind sharing also that this recommendation is also supported by our financial consultant that has been through the thick and thin of the city of Calexico since 2016. She's a reputable financial consultant in the state of California, and also, I mean, has had a say in terms of what we assist with and how we are addressing the fiscal issues that we faced.
That is correct. Our consultant has recommended that we stay with them for at least 3 more years. And then if you wish to, we can go out for RFP. She is very knowledgeable. She's well-known throughout the state. And she has recommended that we stay with them. Again, they have a history. They know how our operations run, and it's easier to run that. It's smoother, so.
Okay.
And for this, especially for this year, that we would like to push our audit to be finished sooner than we've ever done. So we're working truly with them, and I think things will run smoothly if we
Good.
continue.
Questions, council?
Make a motion to accept.
Well, wait, do we have someone from the public? No? Okay, go ahead, Councilman Pacheco.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve an extension of the unruly accountants advisors contract to provide annual financial audit services for the city of Calexico for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Very good. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, second by Councilman Romero. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Let's move on to item number, I'm sorry, that was 10. So now we're moving on to item number 11. Subject, authorize new position allocation for 1 additional police lieutenant and authorize in-house testing of police lieutenant. Chief, would you like to give any background on this?
You know, if I could start, Mayor, just
Go
we'll
right
have the
ahead,
police
whoever
chief
likes to
jump
go.
in. You know, 2 years ago, more or less, when I started here at the city, the first thing that we were looking at, if you recall, was bringing the sheriff in replacement of the police department. That was my first indoctrination into what police needed and sheriffs and all those things. My eyes were opened a little bit when we got the requirements back from the sheriff. They required 2 lieutenants, 1 chief, and multiple sergeants. We have the sergeants, we don't have the lieutenants, and so right now and I'll let the chief go on this, but the administrative needs of the city are great in the police department. But I'll go ahead and, if you could, take over.
Yes, so like Mr. Dale said, when we did get the quote from the sheriff's office, they requested at least 2 lieutenants. And every other department in the Imperial County has either 2 or 3, which is the second in commands. Either they're called commanders now. They used to be lieutenants, but they're commanders. Even the city of Imperial has 1, but they have 1 administrative sergeant. They're a lot smaller city. We're the second biggest city in the valley. So, in essence, I have been doing the job of the lieutenant and the chief of police. My sergeants have had to pick up some of the slack because of the lack of lieutenant. My other lieutenant has had to pick up some of the slack. So by having this lieutenant position open or actually filled, we're going to be able to have him oversee the non-sworn personnel, which is all your dispatchers, animal control, traffic meter division, records division, evidence. And they also oversee our investigation division. Part of their duties will also be any type of grant funding for those non-sworn positions usually fall under the duties of that lieutenant. So it's a very important position. I told Mr. Dale that I love doing it and I love staying busy, but we do miss out on a lot of important meetings with other agencies and in the community because there's only 2 of us. So now by having to fill that position and then in-house is one of the things that I want to do because nothing brings up the morale more than to promote from within. That tells your officers that you are willing to give them a chance to prove themselves because they already have proven themselves in some sort of capacity. They know the city, they know the department, and they know the chief of police, whoever it be, will it be me or whoever comes after me. But I strongly encourage you to allow this to happen. We will be making some adjustments in our budgets to make sure that we can fund this position at the time without affecting the budget. And that was the agreement that I had with Ms. Lobatos and the city manager.
Very good.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? No, sir. No? Council, any concerns?
No?
Wait. Oh. Go ahead, Mr. Kim. Just make sure you fill it out next time, or it was an accident. Okay.
Okay. How I can explain my closest feeling, which is, first of all, they call City of Calexico so much cheap, but not many Indians. We have short of the officers, we're trying to have more management. Something you have to think about it. We should increase the more officers first, then we talk about the management. And second, if we need to have a hire someone in management, we supposedly, I understanding there are some people prepared for that. There might be fit their positions, but we supposed to have competitive process open to outside. So whoever is ready, they have to be qualified by third eyes or through the competitions. That's guaranteed to us to have the best officers or best management. They are ready. That's why we open the position every time, and when you have a vacancy. Well, if we go like this, we're gonna go in-house to hire the city manager. We're gonna promote in-house for the police chief. So everything's in-house. Where is our competitive? Where we can say competitive? We've been proved, or we've been checked by system. We're gonna need that. Up to the sergeant, probably in-house will not really matter. But when you go to management, we should have somebody been proven by outside. So we should have go to process, to competitive process, to our officer. If someone is ready, why we need to worry about the competitive process? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Would like to rebut that?
Yes, I would like to rebut that because I take it as an insult. Because I came up the ranks, rose up the ranks. I earned my position. It was not given to me. And so far, I have proven to the city that I'm willing to give 100%. While I'm vacation or not, I answer my phone, I answer my emails, and I put the city and the citizens of Calexico first, my department, and me last. If you guys haven't noticed that for the last 2 years, then you guys are blind or you guys don't want to hear it. It's one of the things I do have is I have a lot of trust in my sergeants and my police officers. And if they're coming up the ranks, that's the best way to do it. Imperial County Sheriff's Office does not go outside to hire anybody. Everything is done in-house. El Centro Police Department does everything on the inside except for police chief. City of Brawley, everything on the inside except for police chief. Back in 2013, we went to the outside for a police chief, and it did not go well for the city of Calexico. That's where our problems started. So I take that to great offense as I'm trying to hold a city, a police department together, keeping it from getting outsourced to the sheriff's department, who was not going to give you the same amount of attention we do because we know our city. I'm not saying that we're better than they are, but we know the city. and my officers are very dedicated to the city of Calexico. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Chief.
I-
Mr. Dale, during our briefing,
Yeah.
there is a positive thing here for more law enforcement. You said this is going to save roughly around $50,000
It could.
possibly?
That's the estimates, but I want to emphasize that this item also includes a test. So
yes.
we're hiring an outside firm to come in and do a test on all those applicants to see who would be, good to go to that. So we're not just willy-nilly saying, okay, we're doing a testing program.
Right.
And if we find no one that has passed the test, we're going to do away with.
Then we won't do it. If no in-house,
We'll have to wait.
yes,
Okay.
So we're giving them an opportunity
it's an opportunity.
to prove themselves, and they take a test.
Correct.
And we take it from there.
Yes. So just like we did with the sergeants, there's going to be a outside firm come in and do a testing exam. So
All right. Very good. Is there any other public comments?
Sean Acuna.
Mr. Acuna, Officer, Sergeant Acuna.
I'll be brief. Thank you, members of the council. Sean Acuna, CPOA. Just want to say, history has shown that officers hired from the inside always flourish. Okay, what the chief talked about, morale being boosted, it's so true. It shows that the command staff has confidence in their subordinates. And going from the outside has always been disastrous. We've had so many outside chiefs, so many outside entities in the past, and Calexico has never prospered from it. So the CPOA fully supports in-house hiring for the position of lieutenant.
Still recovering.
And not only that, I just want to let the community know that we are actively trying to hire police officers.
Yes.
The problem is that there's not a big pool of applicants, and the applicants that we have had have not been successful through the testing process. Those that have gone through the testing process, unfortunately, have not made it through the training program. So, we have high standards here at Calexico. It is a fast-paced police department. It's not for everybody. So, even though we've hired, I think, 8 people in the past year, we've only had 3 that actually were able to stay on, and that is to go through the selection process and then to make it through the training program. So it's very intensive. So we definitely support our chief having this as an in-house hiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. Council members?
I just think it makes logical sense to start in-house first because they're talking about experience in the streets, experience in knowing the city, and it just builds that trust. You've been working together for such a long time. As a veteran background, obviously you would want to start within the people that you trust in, people
That
that
makes a lot of
they
sense.
take care of your, they take care of your back, you take care of them. And by back, I'm not talking about
Literally.
favors. I'm talking about literally taking care of your back. Police officers go through dangerous scenarios every single day. That's what I'm trying to say. And to be able to start from in-house first, it just builds up the morale and the team effort put together.
Thank you, Councilman Romero. All right, is there a motion on this one?
Motion.
Item,
Motion.
authorize new position, allocating 1 additional police lieutenant, authorize the in-house testing of police lieutenant. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve item 11, authorize new position allocation for additional police lieutenant and authorize in-house testing of police lieutenant.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Fernandez. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? No. There are noes. There are no noes. So it passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 12. Subject, authorize city manager to sign change order for library software migration. Thank you.
we have our new, by the way, our new acting city librarian at this moment.
Congratulations.
Is that? Yeah.
So basically, this item is Innovative Interfaces, which is our library software system. Decided to add a third migration process to we're updating our software. It's quite old. The current version that we have is quite old. This third migration is not going to cost anything, but since we have to bring it up to you for approval.
Okay. In other words, it'll just make life easier for you and your entire staff, right,
Yes,
Mrs. Legaspi?
yes.
Right?
Great.
Update, yes. Very
Become
much
more
needed.
efficient.
Exactly.
Okay.
Public comment.
All right, is there a public comment on this particular item?
No, sir.
No. All right.
Make a motion to accept item number 12, authorize city manager to sign change order for library software migration.
Very good. Second by Councilmember Romero. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. It passes unanimously. Moving on to number 13.
Thank you, Mr. Gaskin.
Yes, thank you and congratulations. Subject: award bid proposal from Los Angeles Truck Centers, LLC, in the amount of $102,922.70 for the purchase of one 2,000-gallon water truck for water and wastewater treatment plant. Who would like to expound upon that? All
Good
right,
evening.
very good.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. As part of our fiscal year 2019-20 capital improvement program, we have budgeted funding to purchase and replace dire equipment that we have at the Public Works Department at both our water and wastewater facilities. So one of the vehicles that we currently don't have and we haven't had for a long while is a water truck that is needed in both facilities due to the fact that these facilities have vacant property that is not paved. Therefore, we constantly need to water it so we don't get the Imperial County Air Pollution Control District after us. So we went out to bid and we only received one bid, which was from Los Angeles Truck Center. And staff reviewed the bid submitted, they followed the guidelines, and we now are requesting for to purchase, well, to award and purchase the vehicle.
Okay. Do we have a public comment first?
No, sir.
Okay, council members?
Well, Mr. Dale, it's a good price. We only had one bid, and I think
Yes.
you're looking at.
We had, you can expand, but I think we had estimated 170,000. And so, yeah.
It did come below our original budget.
Long overdue. From what I've heard, they've been welding the current one they
Yeah.
had, and
Yes.
it's, rotting off a couple of times, so,
Yes.
I think it's more than due.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the bid.
All right. Award the bid proposal from Los Angeles Truck Centers for one 2,000-gallon water truck for water and wastewater treatment plant. Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that will improve the efficiency at the water and wastewater treatment plant. That's good. Moving on, that was item number 13. We're moving on to item number 14. Bum, bum, bum. Subject: authorize city manager to sign change order number 7 with Pyramid Construction and Aggregate Incorporated in the amount of $242,000, $778.61 for Cesar Chavez Boulevard improvements, federal aid project number HPLUL-5168, parentheses, 017.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start it. I'd like to ask if I could have the whole group, the whole group was and is the construction manager on that project, and they can better explain all the details on it if there's any questions. But I'd just like to start by saying the change orders that we've had up till to date, change orders 1 through 6, most of that money, if not all of it, I think, is due to things that we've requested to add into the project to make it a better project. For example, council approved adding additional streetlights and upgrading the streetlights. As you can see, they're pretty nice. So when you're coming in and out of Mexico, you have a nice corridor there. We added a retention basin so that you'd have water in the streets, stagnant water. We added fencing. We did a bunch of things. The reason why we were able to do that is because the bid came in approximately $1 million lower than the anticipated engineer's cost. So we had some flexibility to upgrade the project, which was good. But now and they can expand on this, but what these items are, most of them are due to changes in unknown conditions and so forth. It's not atypical to have that on any street project. I've been an engineer for approximately 20 years, and every single project every single project has unknown conditions changes. So I would like if they could go ahead, and if you have any questions, we can expand on these. We had several delays in the project due to out of our control from utilities that didn't respond, or railroad, or people stealing stuff from the project and causing delays, which cost the contractor additional money. But if you could, Junie, this is Junie from the whole group, and if you could go ahead and expand.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, administrative staff. As Mr. Dale said, my name is Junior Marmolejo, and I'm here representing the Whole Group Incorporated, who was contracted to do construction management services for the Cesar Chavez Boulevard project. So what we're asking for today is approval of change order number 7 for this project. It is for, as you said, it's a pretty long number to say. It's $242,770.61. There's 20 different items that have been incorporated into this change order. Of the 20 different items, roughly $85,000 of those items come to unknown conditions, and that's actually 11 out of the 20 items that are outlined on there. Overall, as Mr. Dale said, you do have unknown conditions for a project. So overall, these items are anything, these items are anything from stormwater utility relocations to removal of subgrade in areas that we weren't aware of what the subgrade material was like. It was full of trash and debris, and we can't build a road over the top of it. Then your road will sag down, and you'll have to come back and repair it. So those are the unknown conditions that we go through, and you typically have for a project where you don't know what you're going to get underground. Another part of that project is $60,000 for additional items that were requested. Some of those items are for baller posts that protect utilities that the utility company came in and put in, and I say utility company, but it's actually utility companies. That goes anywhere from water relief valves to IID pool boxes, AT&T pool boxes, Spectrum pool boxes, Southern California Gas, Union Pacific Railroad, IID Power. Those types of utilities, and then $97,408.50 is for time extension of the contract. So that's been one of our challenges for this project. Is when we first came in, we had to go out and get extensions from Union Pacific Railroad. They asked for specific designs. And we're still working with Union Pacific Road at the tail end of this project to get it done. Even though Cesar Chavez is open and it's working now, we are still working with them to get some of the crossings as you go over a railroad crossing there on Grant. We're still working with them on that. As well as over on 2nd Street, there's a small section of 2nd Street between Imperial Avenue and Cesar Chavez Avenue that we will be working on. AT&T, they came in and did their work. As we've discussed before, is one of the, AT&T came in and installed the wiring at one point, and then lo and behold, there's a theft of wiring in there that set back the project like 2 months. It's out of the control of the contractor. This job was supposed to be completed in February. Due to the delays from dealing with the various utilities, it got completed and opened up in June, July, and at that time frame. So there's additional costs that were done there for traffic control, stormwater pollution prevention, things of that nature that were $97,000. So if there's any specific questions, I'm open to answer them.
Council members?
Just got pushed back and you had to do extra stuff and it just delayed the project, and we understand that, and it's unavoidable.
But we're still within our budget. We're okay money-wise, right?
We have money in our Measure D, and we actually allocated that money, and we're still within, I believe, we're still within the budget on that. So.
Very good. Is there a public comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Kim?
All right. Once again. again, ladies and gentlemen, please look to us when you're addressing and focus on the subject. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Hart and council members. So I'm watching my paper, I'm watching you guys too. So when I'm watching my paper, don't tell me to watching you guys. I have to read. And I was very critical on this, but in a way, I understanding now issues what happening because I saw this company, Pyramid Constructions, always charging extra and extra. So I supposedly say they getting beat with the low cost and they're checking up the price. They were very technical, they just trying to charge more, they try to get the money, more money from the city. But now I see that city itself has a problem with the planning. And I understand the city council member, they like to have input to make the city better. But I believe in case of that, we should have some kind of a forum or together to see what we need to change it. So we do one times to change things like change the order. Probably we might have the ending. Of course, should be more detailed, successful plan, so we don't have to change much. But sometimes they're coming in. If the council wants to wish to do it, they should have one together to reviewing what they wanted and then fix it. Not having us like this to increase the price again and price again because we're changing the order. But something they're unknown, they're coming up, they should have taking their cost, not to ask the city of Calexico. And also every contract they have some loopholes to little cushion to without council's approval. So in a way we need to have a better contract, and we need to have a better dealing with our constructions to make the better job in saving our money, tax money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim.
If I could add, I mean,
Okay.
I think I've mentioned this before, but this project design started in 2010, believe it or not. It went through, I think, 7 city managers, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, 6 to 7 city managers. So there was a rotation in the city at that time, and
City managers, inflation.
yeah, so things change, and over 7 years of time, things change, priorities change, and one of the great things about this is that the bid came in low enough that we had the flexibility to add great things into it, and that's what we did.
It looks good.
And I would like to say thank you to the whole group because I mean they did an excellent job on this project, keeping the contractor in line. And I might add that I think it was you mentioned $97,000 in delays. That number started at $500,000 and they negotiated it down. So, good job.
Good job. Thank you. Would you like to say something?
So just with regards to price increase, just to clarify, it's not to me, it's not a price increase in the contract. What these are changes in the scope of work or additional scope of work that was requested or that needed to be done. And so when that work is done, it typically we either come with a change order or a work change directive where we're telling the contractor to do the work, and then thereafter we negotiate the contract price. That's part of what we get hired to do. So.
Very good. Okay, is there a motion?
Sorry, I have one more speaker.
We have one more public speaker.
Mr. No.
Sorry.
That was him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to accept change order number 7 with Pyramid Construction at aggregate the amount of $242,778.61 for the Cesar Chavez Boulevard Improvement Federal Aid Project number HPLUL 5168017.
Is there a second?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition. It passes unanimously. Very good. Moving on to item number 7.
Number 15.
What am I doing? 17?
No,
15. 15. I don't know why I had 7. Okay. Subject, appointment to the Business Improvement District Board by myself, Mayor Hodge. Okay, we have somebody? Okay, public comment?
Mr. Hodge,
Yes, sir.
you are experienced city council member. It seems like when I see the number 15, it looks like we don't have a lawyer in our city of Calexico. And our city ordinance don't allow to have elected person to be in the city commissioners. And you're appointing Louis Wang, which is his elected official.
He is an elected official.
He is elected official.
Mr. Attorney?
Louis Wang is elected official of the
IVC.
Of the IBC.
I know he was, but I didn't know he still was.
He's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, usually we vet that before. I know city clerk. We weren't aware then.
He's still there.
Yeah, because generally the city will vet that, and those names don't come through. Maybe this.
But Mr. Kim is right. We can't move forward on
Yeah,
that.
we have your ordinance does. If you're an elected official, you cannot be on a.
Okay.
On a.
All right, Mr.
On a
Kim.
commission?
Okay, thank
So,
you.
but we probably do want to verify that information, obviously.
We will verify. Thank you
And
for
then
pointing
whether or
that out.
not
That
if he
position,
is,
as
then
if
he'll be
he's not
eligible.
there, there's supposed to be election or appointments.
Okay. All right, then we will skip that at this time. Anyone want to say something?
He is.
No?
No, look
Okay.
further into it.
Yeah. All right then. We are on item number 16, appointment to the Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Senior Services Commission by Mayor Pro Tem Romero. Sir?
Actually, do you have a gentleman who will be coming in to further finalize this process? His name is Robert Morales, local resident of Calexico. He's actually, his dad is the late Robert Morales, former superintendent for Calexico School District, retired ICE agent, owns Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, so helps out a lot with his kids and senior services. So Robert Morales is my appointee.
Good choice. All right, very good. Moving on to number 17. Subject, appointment by City Council of a General Commissioner to the Calexico Housing Authority Board. We have 2, Juan G. Villarreal and Renee Felix. I would like to suggest Renee Felix. That's my opinion. Is there any discussion on this?
They're both good candidates.
Yes, they are.
Mr. Villarreal and Mr. Felix, so I don't.
All right.
Is Mr. Felix here?
All right, Mr. Felix here, okay.
Do we have any public comment?
Do we have public comments on this? All right, we vote on this, is that correct? You need a, okay, I made the motion, so is there a second? No second for Renee Felix. Okay, it dies.
So with
Lack of a motion.
with that, I would like to actually propose Juan G. Villarreal
All right,
for the Housing Authority.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right, congratulations, it passes. Congratulations, sir.
Mr. Villarreal.
Okay, moving on to number 18. Subject, we are now going to go into public hearing. We're going to hold a public hearing. Yes. Oh, we're going to hold a public hearing, introduce and conduct a first reading by title only of an ordinance amending sections 5.96.020 and 17.11.1020 of the Calexico Municipal Code to remove industrial hemp from the definition of cannabis. All right, public hearing is now open at approximately 9:23. 8:23. Excuse me, I still haven't changed my mind. Fall back. Okay. That would help.
I have a speaker.
Okay, so,
Chris.
do we have any background on this? Who would like to introduce background?
Hi, my name is Christopher Velasco. Good evening, Council,
Chris.
City Council. Back in the 2018 Farm Bill, there was a provision that removed industrial hemp from Schedule of Controlled Substances. It was therefore signed into law by President Trump, and it became effective this year. So there's been federal descheduling of industrial hemp, basically pulling it apart from the definition of cannabis in terms of a controlled substance. So, as you know, the Imperial Valley is primed for industrial hemp production. We have a great climate for it. A lot of the varieties that do well in Canada, the fiber ones, can grow here in the winter, meaning we can have hemp production all year long. So, this would remove industrial hemp. It would change two sections of the municipal code. And what it would allow us to do is to treat industrial hemp as if it were any other commodity, right? Because right now, if someone wants to open up a business regarding using industrial hemp, they have to go through the commercial cannabis regulatory.
That's a very stringent process.
It's stringent, it's time-consuming, and it costs money. And so what we would do is we would align the Calexico Municipal Code with federal law and treat it as a commodity, any other commodity. So basically industrial hemp is cannabis sativa L with 0.3% THC or less. The Imperial County Agricultural Commissioner's Office, they do all the testing. They have their own fee set up. So what this would allow is it to be treated, as I said before.
You can't get high on this.
No, you can't. There's no way. I mean, from what the research I've done, there's no way for people to get high because the THC component is the component that makes you feel elevated, and there's not enough in hemp. There's CBD in some strains.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Velasco, CBD, hemp is more used for like CBD products, fiber.
Yes.
You know,
so there are about
more
10.
reusable.
There are about 10,000 products you can make out of industrial hemp. Anything from the tables and chairs to building material. You know, the list is pretty expansive. So what this ordinance would do would allow us to treat it like any other commodity. So you're not going to have industrial hemp growing in residential zones because A, you need a permit from the Imperial County, right? And it has to be compliant with local codes. Our code currently says that you cannot grow, you can't treat a residential zone as an agricultural use. So it would allow for industrial hemp to happen in commercial and industrial areas.
It's more farmland.
Yes, I mean, theoretically, there in our code there's areas for nurseries in some commercial and industrial zones.
Like indoor nurseries too. Right?
So that would be allowed depending on the type of zone. If it's industrial rail, if it's commercial highway, or if it's heavy industrial, depending on how what zone they lie in, it would dictate if they could cultivate it or not. But the biggest potential here is for the manufacturing jobs. Industrial hemp, there used to be a sort of an infrastructure of processing it here in the Imperial Valley. When Prohibition came, that infrastructure went away, and a lot of these manufacturing jobs are really labor intensive.
So we'd like to remove the hemp from
the cannabis.
Yes.
Just take it out. Remove from the definition of cannabis.
It would be, we would align the Calexico Municipal Code with federal law.
Okay, any more comments from the council?
No.
Okay, this is an open hearing, so come forward and state your name and give your position on this. Anyone like to do so?
Mr. Kim.
Thank you to council members and again. And my house and myself has shirts made by the marijuana. It's Korea, very popular. Our some clothing is very popular with the marijuana. They're making the thread. They're making the clothing, just like a mask, like the little holes in the between. So air for the air circulations. So we call the marijuana. The ma means like a ma. We call the ma. It's like in China, Chinese they say ma. We call the temacho, which is the clothing itself, material itself. We call the ma, which is the macho, which is marijuana. But of course they cannot get high with wearing. It's understandable, like a hemp oil is considering not as a drug because they cannot get high. But the problem I see, where is the security about enforcement about marijuana they're growing? We don't have police officers. How are we going to handle those enforcements? How are we going to secure the project? Only from the inside of the in-house the marijuana growing, or they're gonna growing marijuana outside for this? So my main concern is the safety of our community, and also take away from uncontrolled adults and kids to consuming. So if we wanna go with the separating, we should have enough police officers. City of Calexico, they were saying, we keep saying, oh, we are hiring them officers. But that's, for me, it's misleading. Why? Because City of Calexico, there is no budget for more officers. You want to really hire the more security officers, you have to increase the budget for the officers, then people will be leaving. We need more officers before do anything with the marijuana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Anyone else would like to come forward, whether pro or con, on this particular issue? Would you like to elaborate on anything?
I forgot to mention that the Planning Commission did approve it on October 14th.
Okay.
Recommending that the City Council approve this.
Planning Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll look at my watch, right? We will close this open hearing at approximately 8:31. It's closed. Now, Mr. Attorney, we vote on it, correct?
If council's ready, you can deliberate further, or if you're ready to vote on it, we can take a first
Any
and a
more
second.
deliberation, council? No, we're fine. Okay, is there a motion to to amending the sections that will remove industrial hemp from the definition of cannabis?
Motion to approve item 18.
All right.
So moved, second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
If you allow me, Mayor,
Opposed? We're good. It passes.
if you allow
Yes,
me,
I
Mayor,
did.
read the title to the record. Ordinance City Council, City of Calexico, California, amending sections 5.96020 and 17.11.1020 of the Calexico Municipal Code to remove industrial hemp from the definition of cannabis. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Campos. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to another public hearing. Hold a public hearing, introduce and conduct a first reading by title only, of an ordinance amending section 17.11.1040 of the Calexico Municipal Code, increasing the number of potential cannabis retailer, comma, non-storefront retailer, and micro business permits from 7 to 12. Okay? Public hearing is opened at 8:33. Would like some backup on this, please.
Certainly. This proposed ordinance would amend Chapter 17 and increase the number of potential cannabis retailer, non-storefront retailer, and microbusiness permits from 7 to 12. So storefront retail is what people refer to as a dispensary. Non-storefront retailer is a delivery, which would allow people to deliver from a business here within the city of Calexico. And microbusiness is a combination of three of either cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, and a non-storefront retailer. So you can do three of those choices. So what this ordinance would do would increase that amount from 7 to 12. On October 28th, it was passed by the resolution was passed by the Planning Commission to recommend to the City Council that you pass this ordinance. And so currently, right now, we have 7 applications in process. So what this would do would increase it to 12.
Okay. I'd just like to note the staff does not anticipate that the additional retailers will adversely impact the city's services or negatively affect the general welfare of the citizens. Additional businesses in the zone will help to revitalize the area with new development, which has been a main goal since the zone was established.
Yes.
Okay. Do we do council first or public? Public first. Okay. Do we have any public members to come forward? Mr. Kim.
Good evening, council members again. And I went to planning commission meeting, and I was complaining there's no backup documents. Our commissioners making decisions without backup documents, without public backup documents. Even city of Calexico right now, there is no applicants. There is no information about none of the applicants. And what kind of this one? Is both to the applicants? And how are we going to approve this? Of course, I'm recommending to council said not to approve it. First of all, because we already have enough. But even we want to put the more. What happens about the applicants? Who is there? Who are they? So, City of Calexico issuing the, I believe, 5 applicants, issuing the 5 position. Yeah, 5 applicants permit, and just the blank. And whoever pays good, or whoever have a good connection, they're gonna get it. Or they have to have a secret. How City of Calexico making this kind of nonsense without knowing who's applicants? Or only council member knows, not the public. Is this transparency, Mr. Hachi, what you call? Please, you want to make the decision to approve it, at least let you guys know who is them, and let the public know who is applicants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Any other speakers? No? What time is it? 8:37. We will close this public meeting, hearing at 8:37. Anyone in staff would like to say anything before we vote?
Mr.
No?
Campos, Mr. Campos, I was kind of, I'm sorry. I thought the state of California is limiting retailers or dispensaries per population, 1 per every 10,000.
if we have a population of 40,000, that gives us 4. We're well within, we've already are gone well beyond what our population is, and now we're going to add to it 5 more. If that's the formula that the state is going to use, unless they want to use the liquor or the
Have that passed?
No,
yeah,
they're supposed to issue over concentration, but they haven't issued those numbers.
It hasn't passed.
So what's going to happen is at some point we'll get this, and that's we've been waiting, but we don't have what that.
There's not even a timeline.
What
set for
the
that.
timeline? It's just they're just kind of dragging their feet. But at some point you will have an over concentration. If you do have an over concentration, we won't be able to issue additional retail licenses. But we don't have those figures yet.
So we don't know if the state is going to approve of the,
There's-
even though we say yes, add them on, but the state is going to say no for that little city.
For the time being, they will process them. At some point, they're supposed to issue those numbers, but until they do, they would just continue to issue them. At some point, if they do issue them and we are over concentration, then when these applicants, after they obtain their permits here and they go to the state, they will not be able to.
The
obtain a
comment
state
that
permit.
Mr. Kim is making is that we don't approve. It's the state of California that issues.
For the individual retailers, we would, it's a dual permitting process. You need a local permit and a state permit.
The state also is involved in saying yay or
You
nay.
need 2 licenses, first through the city and then through the state as well.
Where you get a CUP through the city, and you have to go through the state through a very extensive vetting
Correct.
process.
It's a dual processing system here. You need a local permit and as well as state permit.
My only concern is that we're overdoing it a bit for a population of 40,000. That's my only concern, even though the report states that we can handle, but are we going to look foolish in the eyes of the
start
state or
closing, right.
anybody else?
Well, at the end of the day, the market will determine,
Yeah.
and the state. So,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Chris, may I interject something here? Kim brought up a very good point. Do we have a right to mention who the businesses are by name that are going to?
I would defer that question to the city attorney.
All we're doing right now is adopting an ordinance to increase the allowable permits. The approval process, it's a second process that we've been basically, from the beginning, it was the first come, first serve. So the city has just been processing them as they
It's
as they
public
come.
information.
Public
Yeah.
information.
So
So we don't have to state it here. Okay.
But it's
So-
public information if needed, right?
they would
if
go through,
asked by the
they would go
citizens?
through they would go to the appropriate
Once the application process begins.
Right, once it begins, of course.
Okay.
So,
Chris,
excuse me,
sorry, go ahead.
how will this impact the city? I mean, what about our police department? What are they saying about it?
Well, I don't think that they're in favor, but I mean, again, it's it's sales tax, and I mean, like I said before, the bottom line is the market will determine how many will actually be able to survive.
So in any ways, if we approve these 12, in the end of the day, maybe 2 or 3 are going to be approved.
Probably the state will determine, but I mean,
Yeah, the state determines.
yeah, the state will determine.
So
it,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
So what impact is it doing? I mean,
it won't really affect much. I mean, bottom line is the
we're
market
just giving
and the
people
state
to have an opportunity
giving
to
them the
apply.
chance.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, yes. And in terms of security, each applicant has to fill out a robust security plan,
Right.
which is reviewed by all members, all department heads, including the police department,
Right.
for compliance. And it is a collaborative effort between the city and the state.
They have to provide their own security.
Yes,
Is
they
that
do.
not right?
Yes, they do.
That's by state law.
Storefront retailers are required to have an armed guard when they are in operation, per BCC, and so they have to fill out that robust security plan. They have to have cameras, and it's a collaborative effort. When I get an email from the Bureau of Cannabis Control, they ask me, is the applicant in local compliance, local jurisdictional compliance? And I say yes, no, or in process. So it's a collaborative effort between a locality and the state. They want to know first, have they met all the requirements of our local code?
So, Mr. Velasco, out of the 7 that got CUPs,
Yes.
Have all 7 been approved by the state, or are there still some in process?
All of them, I believe, have been approved by the state. We are having a public notice of public hearing next week for a revocation of one of those. So that will be at the Planning Commission meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So state's not giving us like no issue with over-concentrated, the
No,
fact that they
no, I've
were
not.
7.
I've received the same email from every applicant from every different type of cannabis activity. You know, there's manufacturing, distribution,
And like
cultivation.
Mr. Dale pointed out, the market will take its place and even things out.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Any other comments or concerns? All right, I'd like to make the motion to increase the number of potential cannabis retailer, non-storefront retailer, and micro business permits from 7 to 12 for item number 19. Is there a second?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
No.
One no? Okay, you said aye? Okay, it passes 3-1. Thank you.
Mayor, an ordinance City Council, City of Calexico, California, amending section 17.11.1040 of the Calexico Municipal Code, increasing the number of potential cannabis retailers, non-storefront retailer, and micro business permits from 7 to 12. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
And then, Mr. Mayor, as well, we're gonna, it looks like the item that we added at the urgency, item 17A, it looks like we haven't took action on that item. That's
I thought we did. Yeah.
The beginning was just a motion to
So
add it to the
we
agenda.
need to vote on it?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's the adoption
Okay,
of
no
resolution
problem.
in support of declaration of local emergency. Yeah, at the beginning, what we did, we took one motion to add it to the agenda,
Okay.
and then we took a second motion to approve the agenda
Yeah, all right.
with this item. So we did take this item.
Okay, so, subject, adoption of resolution in support of the declaration of local emergency at the New River by the County of Imperial. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second. Second.
Okay, very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is adopted. It passes. All right. Let me see. That was 20.
That's it.
Is that it? Future agenda items. Starting to my left.
I don't have
Councilman
anything.
Pacheco.
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
No items at the moment,
To my
Mr.
right.
Mayor.
Any items? I have a couple. You can help me how to put them in the proper format, but we've talked about it today. I do believe we need to inquire about creating a systematic program. Oh, this is one, to improve lighting in the city, just like we are improving streets and roads. There are a lot of dark places in Calexico. And I'm not an engineer, but sometimes to me it doesn't make sense that on one side of the street there are lights and on the other side there aren't, and it's dark. I promise I'll get new glasses, but I don't think that that's the problem. So I don't know what first steps we could take. What would you suggest, Mr. Dale?
LED?
Are you asking for an agenda item or just a general discussion?
A general discussion.
Oh, okay. Well, one of the things is we did get an electrician, a city electrician. We didn't have one. Well, we had one, but it was just at the wastewater treatment plant. We do have one now, but installing a light is pretty labor intensive, and it's not cheap either. Yes, because the pole itself and all those things, and the cost to put it up and so forth. But it's doable. It can be done with either our gas tax or Measure D's. So it's not a funding issue necessarily, but it's a personnel availability resource issue. And so that's where we stand. But if you let me know what your priorities are, we'll
All
change
right,
ours.
We'll discuss this further then.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to officially say, coming from me, maybe we could have a presentation on the feasibility of lowering business licenses and eliminating the lot of the duplicating on the fire inspections and the business license, and possibly lowering the fees. Okay? That does it for me.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Mayor.
All right, I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Second? Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.